33-25 as they took on a Blazers team that basically waved the white flag tonight. And the Kings, after a slow start, took full advantage and to get win number 33 on the year. Now it's to the airport and a game against the LA Clippers tomorrow. And I expect the Clippers to be a little rusty at the beginning of that game because they did not play tonight. So I think the Kings have a good opportunity to go down there and play well and win. But they're going to have to play a lot more consistently than they did tonight. You'll take the win. All right. Again, a slow start, but second quarter and fourth quarters, the Kings destroyed the Blazers and they win it 133-116. So great to have you here on the postgame show. If you don't like that, and we bring in Ryan in Sacktown. 1 down, 24 to go, my friend.
1 down, 24 to go, and we were both wrong on our predictions, bud. Not tonight, but when we predicted the games, they brought the win home.
Well, first of all, if you and I knew when I did your podcast that Damian Lillard and Jeremy Grant were going to play because of rest, then we would not have picked Portland to win the game tonight, correct?
Correct. That would, well, I might have thought for a second, but yeah. Portland definitely is not.
Nice winning. Shirt in the background, buddy. I like that shirt.
That's pretty good looking shirt, right?
Yeah.
I had to show it off.
So. People can use it as a dust cloth. You can, whatever. You can do a lot of different things with that, but that's good. Absolutely. We'll tell you how you can order yours in a little bit, but the Kings win. And there were periods of inconsistency and lulls, but, and I wasn't worried about the first quarter. We talked about this at half. It happens when you don't play a basketball game for 8 or 9 days. Very often you can be rusty. I expect the Clippers to be rusty at the beginning of their game tomorrow. It happens. So I didn't think there was any way in the world, and I said this on our Listen App show today, I didn't think there was any way in the world the Kings could lose this game tonight. Absolutely nothing. I didn't think there was any way, any reason that you could give me that I would have said, oh, yeah, the Kings are going to lose the game. Wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, the only way the Kings were losing this one is if anybody got hurt. And it looks like they got out okay. De'Aaron kind of had that ankle tweak, but should be fine. Finish the game out. Do you have any problem with Mike Brown playing the starters that long?
Not really. I didn't think they played that many minutes. I was looking, other than Sabonis, nobody else played more than 26 minutes. I don't think that's that big of a deal, especially since they haven't been playing in 8 or 9 days. So I didn't have an issue with that. Did you?
No, not really. De'Aaron was the only one that I thought about just because they were starting to get a little scrappy on him as he was going down low and going to a spot down there by the free throw line. But other than that, I was good.
Yeah. So, again, tomorrow it's L.A. Again, I did a whole rant on this today on Listen App, and I can do a rant here, but the NBA's got a real problem on their hands. There is absolutely – and I don't care about their travel issues, okay? The travel issues for the Blazers was a non-issue tonight. Had nothing to do with the game, okay? The fact that Damian Lillard and Jeremy Grant did not play tonight and the Blazers put the reason as rest is an embarrassment and an insult to everyone that went to the game tonight, everyone that watched the game on TV, and the commissioner's office. It's embarrassing, okay? It's an insult to the sport of professional basketball. You just had 9 days off, and you're going to put out on your report that your 2 best players are not playing because you're resting them? It's insulting. It's absolutely insulting.
Well, it speaks to just how out of control this problem is in the NBA, right? Before it was, strained calf or, something very, very minor, maintenance. Now it's just straight up rest. That's become the norm. That's the problem right there.
It's a joke. And, it's not like the Blazers play tomorrow. They don't play Saturday. They don't play until Sunday against the mighty Houston Rockets. It's ridiculous.
Oh, the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
Is Hakeem playing in that game?
4 starters were not on the floor tonight for the Houston Rockets. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. It really is. The league's got a problem. I'm so tired of Adam Silver and his BS and him becoming a puppet. He's a puppet now. He's an NBA puppet commissioner. And his comments at the All-Star game were ridiculous as it relates to load management. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It really is. Absolutely embarrassing.
Well, it is embarrassing, Grant. I mean, he just skated around it. It was the most benign answer he probably could have given. But let's dig into this a little bit. I mean, it's one of those things we've talked in circles. There's no good answer, but Where did this problem start? I mean, if Grant Napier is commissioner right
Started
now,
Greg
what's the
Popovich. It started with Greg Popovich.
with
He's the one
Kawhi
that started
Leonard?
doing it. Right.
That's right. And you remember when Kawhi was a free agent, that was a negotiating term. That was
Correct.
one of the things that he was very intent on, was making sure a team would manage his load well. And I'm going to tell you the other trend that has made this worse: analytics.
Yes. Yes, you're right. My point about forfeiting this game is that's what they did. They basically forfeited the game by their decision not to play their two best players. Okay, so we talk about analytics. Okay, I will just tell you that for years and years and years and years, the best players in the sport did not take games off, and the schedule was much more rigorous than it is now. The NBA used to schedule on a regular basis 4 games in 5 nights. Think about that. 4 games in 5 nights. We did 4 games in 5 nights once in 3 different time zones. So they don't do that anymore. They've cut back on the number of back-to-backs. What else have they done, Ryan? They've also now, when you go on the road, like the Kings are going after LA, they're going to Oklahoma City and they're playing them twice. They were in Minnesota earlier this year, right? Just a couple of weeks ago, Ryan. They played them twice, so they don't have to go back there. We've seen Dallas come in, play Sacramento twice. We saw Denver come in and play Sacramento twice. So
Houston.
So, Ryan, the league is actually bending over backwards to accommodate these teams and their players, and yet the problem is getting worse and it's not getting better. So think about this, Ryan. The league has eliminated 4 and 5. They've cut back on the number of back-to-backs. They've reduced travel with the examples that I just gave you. And we're still seeing teams sit players. I mean, it's absurd. It is ridiculous. Why was Karl Malone and John Stockton and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant? We can go on and on and on.
Right.
Why is it that they were able to play in all the games, play 4 games in 5 nights, practice, which they did, by the way? Karl Malone and John Stockton never missed a practice. Kobe practiced. Why is it was okay for them, but now all of a sudden it's not okay for today's athlete? Explain that to me, please.
It's a great question, Grant. I don't think physically it's anything. If anything, it was more grueling back then, because let me tell you, there was a lot more defense played back in those days than there is
Much more
right
physical.
now.
You know,
So
there was
it
no
was
such thing as a flagrant foul. You remember Kurt Rambis and you remember
Oh,
Kevin
yeah.
McHale and the bad boys of the Pistons and Bill Laimbeer. That was, you know, again, for those of you that are woke, that was when it was a man's game. Okay. That's when the game was a man's game. Now, what is the game? The game is Cupcakesville, and it's a 3-point shooting contest. I know I'm exaggerating. It's a little bit more than cupcakes. All right. I'm not saying that there isn't some physicality, but it's not like it was. So all of those things. Okay. And now we're having players sit out on a regular basis. It's absurd. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. And granted, it's one of those questions, or it's one of those problems, like you said, the NBA is bending over backwards and nothing's working. It's getting worse. It's all, you almost dare say it's getting fashionable, right?
Yes.
And you know, I don't know how you solve it. Here's and we've got some people that are saying, you know, how do you solve this problem? My thinking on this is, if you're looking at analytics and you are looking at your 82 game schedule, then you already have information on how your players perform after back to backs from the previous season. You have all that. So guess what? Here's what you do. You mark down in advance which games these guys will not be playing, because you have that in front of you. That way it is fair to the fans. And if you are in a situation where it's a must win, it doesn't matter. That guy has to sit out. And I think that's an approach they've got to take. But I also think they've got to remove, you know, sitting out as a bargaining chip in contracting now.
It's a joke. Brian, what do you want to talk about with the game? It was a scrimmage. What do you want to talk about, Brian? The game was decided before it started. All right. Everyone knew, including Vegas, when they raised the line to double digits, that the game was going to be won by the Kings. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about what? You have the chat line, Brian. Ask me a question and ask Ryan a question. And hey, we'll be more than happy to answer your question as it relates to the game. But what do you want us to talk about? All right. What do you? The game was a scrimmage. It was a glorified scrimmage, and the Kings knew that anytime they wanted to step on the gas and play 5 good minutes of basketball, the game was going to be over. All right. And you know what? It was a bad first quarter. It was.
Yeah.
But you know what? The game's not 12 minutes long. It's 48 minutes long. And guess what? As bad as the first quarter was, Sacramento had a 9-point lead at halftime. They had a 9-point lead at the half. So I didn't get bent out of shape at the first quarter. Again, it's a 48-minute game. And at the end of 48 minutes, Sacramento had 133 and Portland had 116. The game was not close. The game, in my opinion, even in the first quarter, was never in doubt. There was no question that the Kings were going to win this game. And I said at halftime they would win the game comfortably. And I didn't see that. I didn't see any way that the game would not be won comfortably. So I'm not. You want to talk about the game? You have to bring a question, Brian. Ask me a question. I'll be more than happy to talk about the game. I'm not really sure what to talk about. The Kings beat a team that wasn't really in the mood to compete tonight. That's what it boiled down to.
Yeah, exactly, Grant. Brian, one bright spot here, the bench tonight, if you want to talk about the game.
Yeah.
Bench was great performance. That's good. They've struggled. Mike Brown's made some comments hinting that not super comfortable with the guys he has on the bench. But that was a bright spot. No injuries tonight. Bright spot. I saw somebody saying, sloppy passing. That's going to happen when you see a 2-3 zone from time to time, because you don't see it that much in the NBA. Other than that, that's about it. Like, if we're talking basketball, if you watch the Kings broadcast, you found out that Malik Monk spent all-star break in Miami, and Terrence Davis went to Cabo, and Keegan went home for a couple days. So I think that's it in a nutshell.
Yep. All right. So people want to know what we think about tomorrow's game. Ryan and I both have the Kings winning tomorrow. I think that the Clippers are at a disadvantage tomorrow because they have not played now in 10 days or 9 days. I take that back. They did play Phoenix before the break. So this is now going to be, I think, 9 days. So I still think they'll be a little rusty. I will say this, Ryan. I like the King. First of all, I don't know who's playing and who's not playing for the Clippers. That's part of the deal. But you and I both picked the Kings to beat the Clippers tomorrow, and I'm still going to stay with that prediction. However, we are not going to be able to see a lull like we saw tonight, whether it's the first quarter or what have you. You're probably not going to get away with that tomorrow in LA.
No, and Grant, I'd take that a step further. You're not going to get away with that the rest of the season, with the exception of maybe a couple games on the schedule.
Yep.
I mean, the first 7 are against the Western Conference, and then you've got Boston, Milwaukee. You have a first quarter like that. The Kings, even though they can shoot the ball out of the gym, they're not going to come back from something like that. So they've got to come out to a hot start or find a way just to be competitive in the first quarter. Against those teams. And it's usually a slower pace, right, Grant? With the Clippers, you got Kawhi, Paul George. So that may be in favor of the Kings coming off the back-to-back.
Brian, the Kings have not rested players this year. All right, let's talk about that shirt behind your shoulder there that is now available. And we've got another shirt coming out, and it's going to say, "Oh boy," underneath that as well. So, Ryan, we have shirts that people can order now, correct?
Yes, sir. If you would like to get a t-shirt, go ahead and send an email to ohboygrantmerch at gmail. Yep, throw that on the screen at gmail.com. Those come in medium, large, extra large, and 2XL. We can get some female sizes. We are catering to you, obviously, as well. Anita, I'm talking to you because I know you're going to buy a shirt. But yeah, shooting us an email. I'll give you payment information and we will ship those out to you. And then also, this is just a start. We're going to have some other stuff coming out as well. Hats, coffee mugs. So give us your thoughts. Give us your feedback on the shirts. We love them. I think they're great.
Yeah, I do too. I really like them. So good job with that. All right. So I want to make sure that, let's see here, that everything is good. I want to make sure that before I put it up, everything is right. All right. So what do you think about tomorrow? What's the key here? I mean, I think you cannot have that 8 to 10 minute lull tomorrow. Would you agree with that?
Yes and no. The Kings are going to have that 8 to 10 minute lull at some point of the game. They can't have it at the start of the game. I think the key tomorrow is making sure that they throw numerous defenders, and this is assuming Kawhi, Paul George all play. They've got to change how they guard those guys and throw numerous guys at them, because there's not just one guy on the Kings that can stop either of those guys.
All right. So another question: are all the shirts black?
Right now, the shirts are black. We are going to move into some new colors and some new logos as well, but you're going to get the first run of black. You will be first generation.
Okay. Sounds
You
good.
don't like that.
All right. 133. All right. To 116 as Sacramento gets the win. And now the schedule really picks up. All right. Now we're going to start talking about games where you better be ready to play. You're not playing Portland anymore. All right, you got the Clippers, 2 games at Oklahoma City, and then back home to play the Clippers. All right, here's another good question. What's the price of the shirts?
$30, including shipping.
Okay, including shipping. There you have it. Okay, great. Why don't I run for president? Because I'm not out of my freaking mind. Okay. I don't know why anyone would run for a political office in the United States. Thank goodness that some do, but I don't know how they do it. I really don't. I really don't. And I'm not running for president. So thank you very much for saying that I should run for president. And I would say this, and I say this tongue in cheek somewhat, but I don't think I could do a worse job. Okay. Like I don't think I could do a worse job. I'll just leave it at that. It's not a job that I would ever want to have. I don't know why anybody would, but I honestly think I could do a better job, or not a worse job. You know, I believe that I can do as good of a job. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm full of it, which I am. Could I really do worse than what's going on in the United States of America right now? I mean, have you ever seen it? I'm going on a rant. Have you ever seen the country more divided than it is right now? It's a freaking joke. It's a freaking joke.
Grant and Jerry 2024.
Well, we get some votes in Sacramento. I know that, right?
Yeah. Turn the state red.
You guys kill me.
That's probably Jerry right there. No, that's Mrs. Reynolds.
It could be
Mrs. Reynolds saying no.
Grant for commish. What do you think? You think I should be commish? You know?
You know what? You're not afraid to talk to the guys. You tell them how it is. I don't see you backing down if you got LeBron in your office. You got to talk to him about something. So
yeah,
why not?
The update. People want an update on the court case. There is no update yet. I promise you. Okay, as it continues to progress, I will keep you up to speed. All right. I promise that. All right. I promise that. All right. Well, I'll tell you right now, I can do a better job than the mayor of Chicago. And I would guarantee that I could do a better job than the mayor of Chicago. All right, man. Wow. Awesome. You know,
you're getting a lot of commish right now. Tell you what, we'll start a fantasy basketball league and Grant will be the commish. That's going to be his internship.
Oh, hey, by the way, I want to thank the folks that I've been getting a lot of messages that there are fans behind the talent, if I can call them that, on the post-game show with Bring Back Grant signs. Really, I love all of you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Somebody wants to know best resolution of court case to prevail. Okay. Best case resolution, that I win the lawsuit. That's what I want. That's why I filed suit. I feel I was wronged. I feel I was terminated unjustly. And so that is what I want. That's what I want. All right. There we go. I would agree with you. It's the weirdest story ever. For me, it is, but we should see. Someone says you should come back, Grant. Well, I can't come back because it's not my choice to come back. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But I love the fans. And that's the one thing. That's why I do this show, Ryan. You know, you and I have had a lot of chats both on the air and off the air. And I love doing these shows. I love talking to you, the fans. No matter what happens to me, it doesn't matter where I live, doesn't matter how old I am. Like, whenever anyone asks me about what's the best part of Sacramento, I never hesitate. I go, the fans, the people. That's it in a nutshell. You fans, you are so deserving of what is going on right now. And I know some of you get upset when I'm critical of the team, and I'm okay with that. I've been critical of the team for a long time doing my radio show. People go, well, gee, you don't work for the team anymore. You're more critical. No, I'm not more critical. Okay. I'm the same as I've always been. All right.
Yeah.
I think what happens is, Ryan, people see the record and they want to put a camouflage over what's really going on. And
Yep.
yes, I understand the Kings are 8 games over 500. And I'm aware, Ryan, that they started 0-4. But I still think, and I'm looking at the big picture, that this team has to play significantly better, Ryan, to get into the playoffs and win playoff games. Because to me, right now, Ryan, that's what we're looking at. We're not just like talking about a team making the playoffs, although that's number one. You're looking at a team. What's going to happen when they make the playoffs? Okay, well, Ryan, this quality of basketball that I'm watching night in, night out, with a lone exception against the game against Dallas, I don't think's good enough, Ryan, to beat a team like Phoenix in the playoffs, or the Clippers in the playoffs, or Memphis, or Denver. Okay, and there were some other teams. So I'm looking at the big picture when I'm critical.
Yeah, and Grant, we've said it all along. It's what's that saying? Like, like it's fatherly love, right? Like
Mhm,
I'm only doing this because I love you this much, and it's telling everybody like this is really what's going on. They're in a great spot. Don't get me
mhm.
wrong, but this is the reality of the situation. That being said, I think that's why everybody respects you about your opinions, because you balance things out. Because I can tell you, and as many people in the chat do, all that's being shoved down our throat right now is how perfect this team is, how we're going to improve on defense. It's dumb. It's straight dumb. I have no other way to put it. And the reality is this team is flawed. Every team's flawed. But the Kings they are not
Hey,
going to survive a series against Clippers. They're not going to survive a
no,
series against the Nuggets the way they play right
I
now.
got a
And
question for you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, and we've seen enough of a sample size. We're 24 games till the end of the season. So it's who the team is. Embrace it. And I think a lot of people are understanding that now.
Did I say I supported Trump? Did I say that on this show? What what what
I've
what
never heard that.
what is wrong with people?
Yeah, I've never heard that.
Seriously, what do you people like make up shit? I mean, where do you hear this stuff from? Where do you hear that? If you heard me say that I support Trump, I'll pay you $1 million. Okay? I'll pay you $1 million.
I heard it.
Just all you got, and I don't have $1 million, but I'll borrow it. All you got to do is play it back for me, where I say I support Donald Trump, and I'll pay you $1 million. What's wrong with you people? Seriously, I shouldn't say you people. That would be unfair. Bron, what the hell is wrong with you? Get this shit out of your ears. Seriously, what's wrong with you? Unbelievable. All right. How
I
about
I
this?
think
When Grant curses, you take him seriously. Well, when I golf with all my buddies, they don't take me seriously, and I curse all 18 holes.
The question is, when Mrs. Napier cusses, does Grant take her seriously?
Oh my God. No, nobody. No. Oh my God. All right. Back to some tweets that make sense. They do need to play better defense. I don't know if we're going to see this team play better defense. I really don't.
Eh, You're about to get a Ryan's rant. At what point do we drop this conversation? This team is not built to play defense. Like,
No.
we're literally kicking a dead horse.
Yes.
Save the damn oxygen for the trees and have a discussion about how to improve the offense. Like, I'm
Absolutely.
sick of it. That is exactly
Yeah.
why the airtime in Sacramento is filled. That's all they can fill it with. Defense. Where are we going to improve? No, you're not seeing the other side. And Mike Brown's starting to acknowledge that too. So stop. I don't even like that conversation anymore.
Unbelievable. All right. I do want to tell you, I do like this conversation, though. I love talking about
Oh,
Bennett's
yeah.
with 2 locations in Roseville and Sacramento. And their weekend brunch is great. I love their prime seafood. I love the red fish with the sauteed spinach on the side. I enjoy the steaks. You know, I took my boys and my youngest son's girlfriend before I left the last time I was in Sacramento. Actually, Ryan, when you and I had our charity event at Bennett's, and the next night I took them to the location in Sacramento on Howe and Fair Oaks, and we had a porterhouse, and then I also ordered a Prime New York. And you know what? It was fabulous. And I know that you've gone there with your wife.
Yep.
I love it. They're big time. Brian and his family are big time Sacramento supporters, and they're coming to Rockland soon as well, 2 nights. So, or excuse me, they're coming to Rockland in the spring. But if you're in there, say hello to them. Say, hey, you heard us talking about Bennett's on the Kings programming, post-game show, halftime show. They love the great feedback. And Brian's already reached out to me and said, we've got some people coming in here saying that they're here because of you. And you know what? I love that. I absolutely love that. Yep, it is great. So,
very, very cool. And bring your appetite when you go to Bennett's. Big portions and great portions.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. They do not scrimp. Yeah, you're not going to leave there hungry. You know, you are not going to leave there hungry. All right. So we got the shirt in the background. It is available for you right now. Okay. And as I said, all you need to do is, as Ryan said, go online, send an email. Oh boy, Grant Merch, MERCH @gmail.com. Oh boy, Grant Merch @gmail.com. There you have it. All right. And we'll get the shirt shipped out to you. If you don't like that, we're also going to add an oh boy underneath it. So, you know, we're going to make it the best we can make it. Okay. So your shirts are available. Just go to that email, oh boy, Grant Merch @gmail.com. There you have it.
And in the future, we're going to get a little website up going, so it's a little bit streamlined. But for now, email will suffice to get you your shirts before the playoffs hopefully start.
Bennett's can definitely accommodate 10 people coming in.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you would be able to drink all the beer that they have. You know, I mean, you can try. Please make sure that you have a designated driver if you're going to do that. But they would love to see you. You know, we got Brian right here. Brian. Thank you very much. How about that? Brian, we love what you do.
Yes.
I mean, Ryan took his wife there for her birthday recently. I anytime I'm in Sacramento, I love going to hang out with Brian. You know, it's funny. I was doing endorsement for Lexus of Roseville, and we used to go to different locations. So I said, you know, let's go to Bennett's, man. And I took the guys. Well, they took me, the general manager. They paid for me. I'm not going to lie. And we all went out there, and every time we used to go to lunch, which was like once a month. Where do you guys want to go? We're going to Bennett's. And we used to go there all the time. Brian's there all the time, man. The guy's great. He's hands-on, and can't say enough about Bennett's. And thank you so much for everything that you do. Greatly, greatly appreciate that. Well, thank you, Brian. You know, we thank you. We really do. We really do. Absolutely. That's pretty good. Hey, Brian, that's pretty good advertising. That's like a 3-minute spot right there. You know, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I think we got to get Brian in a shirt.
Yeah,
Brian,
you know what?
Let us know your size, bud.
Absolutely. We'll get Brian a shirt. Absolutely. 100%, you know, but thank you, Brian. Seriously, you're awesome. Really appreciate that. Yeah, well, their steaks are incredible. I'll tell you, I really mean this. So there were 4 of us, and I'm like, okay, we're going to splurge. So there's 4 of us. And I didn't know how much my son's girlfriend ate. She's only like 105 pounds. So, but I said, what do you want? I go, I'm going to order a porterhouse. I go, you guys hungry? And they're like, yeah. Well, and then I'm thinking, well, yeah, they don't make a lot of money. They probably are hungry. All right. So I'm like, okay, we'll order a Prime New York as well. So they bring out the porterhouse and the New York. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my gosh. As you said, the portions are huge, you know?
Yeah.
But guess what? The plates were clean when we left, thanks to my boys who, like, you would have thought they hadn't eaten in about 5 days, you know?
Were they chewing on the bone?
I took the bone I took that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
okay.
yeah, I'm paying for it. I get my choice. Okay. There you have it. Somebody wants to know if Brian can expand to Oregon. You know, let's not put too much pressure on Brian. I don't know if he's going to be expanding to Oregon. Okay, man. Okay. This is a good question. And I think this is a great question. All right. Yes. And I'll recommend this. And I hope Brian doesn't mind me saying this. I believe that the location in Sacramento on the corner of Howe and Fair Oaks is a better date location than the location in Roseville. Again, Brian, if I'm wrong here, send me a message and say I'm wrong. If you're going out with the guys and you want to do that with the TVs and everything at the Roseville location, I believe that it's more suited for that. Now, they have a beautiful U-shaped bar at the location in Sacramento, but the ambiance is different. The lighting is a little bit darker. There are a lot of booths. Me personally, if I were going to go out with my wife and I was going to go out to a nice dinner, I would go to the Sacramento location first, as opposed to the Roseville location.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Grant. Like if I'm brunching, I want to the Sunday brunch. First off, amazing, Brian. You
Yes.
already know that. But the ambiance, 'cause they've in Roseville, they've got the little market, and they've got the little cafe, and then you got the bar restaurant. That is just such a perfect brunch spot. On the weekends, watch some football games, hang out, drink some mimosas, have some French toast. Oh, getting hungry thinking about it.
And by the way, I've taken my wife to the Roseville location, and they have two sections, and we've actually sat in both. The inside location is a little bit more, I would say, fancy, upscale, private. I would say that. But you're not going to be disappointed. No, it's not near the fountains. It's on Eureka, and Lead Hill is the intersection on Eureka. All right, so Eureka Road in Roseville. I'm sure Brian's not going to mind me saying this. It's in the same parking lot as McCooney's in Roseville. That sometimes helps people identify it on Eureka. I will say this, and people know me about this as I'm getting off, and we'll get back to the game. I will not endorse anyone that I don't believe in. I don't care how much money you give me. If I'm not, number one, if I don't use your product, or number two, don't know you very well and can attest to your integrity as a business owner, I will not sponsor you. I'll give you an example. Years ago, I had a sales exec at the radio station come up to me and said, "Hey, I've got a great deal for us." He says, "It's worth a lot of money. It's Harley Davidson." And I said, I put my hands up. I said, "I've never in my life been on a motorcycle." And they go, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." I said, "I can't do it. I don't even want to hear about what the money is. I can't go on the air and endorse Harley Davidson. I've never even been on a motorcycle before. So I won't do it. Okay. I won't do something like that if I don't believe in the product." I've known Brian for a long time. He's community oriented. He's very charitable, and he does a fabulous job. All right. So there you have it. They said they need a Bennett's on Elk Grove. Brian, the pressure's on. I know you're opening up in Rockland in a couple of weeks. Now they want you in Oregon. They want you in Elk Grove. I've never been on a hog. I'm sorry, man. All my friends, and I have so many friends that own Harleys. Some of my best friends own Harleys. I've never been on their bike. But
you've never even been on the back of a bike?
I've never been on a bike. But when I go to Thailand, they have the motorcycles. They call them motorcycles. Right. They're motorcycle taxis. They're scooter taxis. And these things weave in and out of the traffic like evil freaking Knievel, okay? And I go on the back of those when I'm in Thailand, and because you beat the traffic because you're weaving in and out, and it's crazy. I'll do that, but I have never been on the back of a motorcycle like a Harley. Never done it.
Well, it saves you your eardrums. That's a good thing for sure. They're a little loud, but fun.
Absolutely
fun. No.
All right.
Hey, so, I want to say one last thing about Bennett.
Sure.
Usually some restaurants, nice restaurants like Bennett, service, the service there is amazing. Brian has great staff. They treated my wife like a queen. You should see what I have to do now at home when we don't eat out there. But everybody's so nice. So yeah, it'll be a top to bottom great experience for you.
All right. So the Kings tomorrow in LA, Clippers, you still think they win?
Yep. Kings win tomorrow. I think they built a little momentum, got a little swag. I do want to keep an eye on De'Aaron's ankle and just make sure that's nothing, because it could be nothing or it could puff up tonight. But other than that, Kings win. And if you want to hear Grant and I's full predictions for all 25 games, you can find that on my podcast, Sacktown Crossover. Go check that out. We break down every single one, and you can see where we think the Kings will finish.
Absolutely. There you have it. Eduardo asked me about a tuk-tuk. Yeah, they're expensive though. So I don't, when I'm in Thailand, I don't do it. Yes, the prices at Bennett's, I think, are very reasonable. That's another thing that we should add as well. So, all right. Eli says that this will be the biggest win of the year if the Kings beat the Clippers tomorrow. I don't agree with you. It
No.
won't be the biggest win of the year.
Nope.
No, no. Hey, all right. So you heard me talk about people that I vouch for, right?
Yep.
So you probably heard me talk about the Zoom 180 flashlight, and
Yeah.
the inventor Roy has overcome 2 battles of stage 4 cancer. He shouldn't even be here. He has had a really rough stretch to get to this point where he was told twice, go home and enjoy your family. And both times he beat the odds. And I started advertising for Roy a number of years ago with, his brokerage firm and Roy's Umbrella. And
Right.
we developed quite a friendship. And he was so happy with the results of me endorsing his business. And I used it also. I said, I'm not using it unless you can do something for me. So I went through him. We refied our home. Again, I if I'm going to advertise for someone, I want to be able to say, okay, I use your product. So we did that. So anyway, Roy has been working for the last 2 years on this revolutionary new flashlight, which is now available. It's zoom180.com. And a lot of the people that watch us have already ordered it, and I'm getting great feedback. Roy also wanted me to make it very clear that if you don't like the flashlight, because it's $149.99, which is a lot of money, but this isn't a flashlight you're going to find anywhere else. There's nothing like it on the market. It is incredible with 5 LEDs. It's amazing. And I've gotten phenomenal feedback from my friends that already have it. He said, if you're one of those that didn't like it, all you need to do is send it back, and he's going to give you a 100% refund. All right? No questions asked. Spend 60 seconds and go to zoom180.com and see for yourself how incredible this device is. Zoom180.com. All right, I'm going to leave it with you, Mr. Ryan in Sacktown. Some final thoughts as we say so long.
Final thoughts. Kings win. That's always a good thing. But you know what? They come out fairly unscathed. Really looking forward. Tomorrow is when the season starts again. Tonight was just a little bit of a scrimmage. So tomorrow is going to be where we get to see where they're at against a top level opponent.
You know what? You hit that right on the head. I think that is so well said. I applaud you. That's spot on 100%. I said I would give you the last word, but I'm going to follow up with it. Tomorrow is when the season begins. Ryan is absolutely spot on. And guess what? That shirt behind you, you can order it now, and you can follow us tomorrow. We'll be on at halftime and post game. If you want the shirt, ohboygrantmerch@gmail.com. ohboygrantmerch@gmail.com. See you tomorrow, everybody. Make it a good rest of the evening. Kings win. And if you don't like that, you don't like Kings basketball. Oh, boy. So long, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow right here.